Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of Your Age is Not Your Cage with Carla Allen. I, as always, am so excited that you're here today. And today, what are we going to talk about? Well, what we are going to talk about is protein. And this is something I've wanted to hit on a few different areas of our macros: protein, carbs, fats. And today I just want to talk about protein. This isn't going to be long. This is not going to be drawn out. This is not going to be super sciencey. This is going to be me offering up what I believe, my opinion, keeping in mind I am not a medical professional. I'm not a doctor. This is merely what I have learned, what I have studied, what I have researched, what I have read. These are all the things that I truly believe that women need in their life, and not just midlife women, but I will say when you start hitting midlife, really anywhere 35 and beyond, you really need to start working on these areas with protein and thinking of a protein forward, protein powered lifestyle. And so that is where I land. If you disagree, that's okay. Just maybe you'll learn something that you didn't know before that is feeds you and makes you want to learn more about protein. But this is where I land, and this is my own opinion and my own thoughts, but I definitely feel so strongly about it. And if you are ever a client of mine, this is going to be one of the main things that we focus on. So that is what I'm going to talk about today. And in that, I talked about last week on the podcast, and if you haven't listened, go back and listen to that, on the Healthy Holiday Challenge that I am doing. One of the things that is required on our challenge is that we're going to focus on getting 1 gram, at least 1 gram of protein per your ideal body weight. So that is part of our challenge that we're doing. That starts Friday, November 1st. And so this should come out before that. So if you still want to join, there's still time. I have a private Facebook group, which I will have in the show notes, and you can join on there, get the details. There's a Google form that you can fill out to become a part of the challenge, and I would love to have you join us over there. This is going to be a community of amazing women. The Facebook group, you do not have to be a part of the challenge to join the Facebook group. It's just a page for women to come that are thriving and that are aging actively and powerfully and want to be encouraged by others. But back to what I was saying, part of our program is about focusing on that protein. So if you take, say, 1 gram of protein per ideal body weight, say your ideal body weight, to make it simple, is 110 pounds. Your calculation for that every single day would be 110 grams of protein, at least, at a minimum, 110 grams of protein per day to achieve that 110 ideal body weight that you're after. And, I think we make protein so much more difficult, because I know at one time I did too. And it really doesn't have to be that difficult and to incorporate into our lifestyles. And I will say, though, just know that midlife women, anyone going through hormonal changes, really need to optimize their protein more now than any other time, because you start losing muscle as you age, and protein is so important to help you with maintaining this and even growing it and keeping that going. But I want to share, I'm going to pull a couple things from a book that I absolutely love. And even though this is called The Great Menopause Myth, this is not just for menopausers, because this is something that can prepare you ahead of time. And if I had been more prepared heading into this season of my life, it would have been amazing. So I can't encourage you enough. Women 35 plus, that's the age that I stick with, that I promote this. 35 plus, start working on these things now. Start reading things ahead of time now so you can prepare your body. So when you do go into perimenopause and menopause, you are so ready and you are conquering it because you've prepared. So this book is The Great Menopause Myth, The Truth on Mastering Midlife Hormonal Mayhem, Beating Uncomfortable Symptoms, and Aging to Thrive. I love that they use that because that's something I say all the time. And this is by Kristen Johnson. And just a little side note, her and another lady are going to be on my podcast later in November. They are from Wise and Well, if you follow them on Instagram. And this is her book, one of the best I've ever read, because you can also go through it kind of as a resource. You don't have to start at page 1. I recommend it, but you can kind of skim through it. If there's something you really need to know about, you can go right to that. But also there's resources in the back. There's recommendations for how to find a practitioner on hormone replacement therapy. So many things in the back of this book. So can't recommend this enough. But there's times I want to kind of dig through research that I have found. And this is one of them when we talk about protein, because let's first start with what protein does and how it plays a role in our body, because it helps us regulate that satiety. It helps not saturate. It helps satiate our bodies and helps preserve muscle. It supports weight loss. It triggers hormones and promotes feelings of fullness and satisfaction. I mean, and that can help us prevent overeating, right? When we feel full and we stop and we're like, you know what? I'm done. I feel satiated. And protein can help you do that. It's protein specifically can increase your metabolic rate by 15 to 30%. So compare that to like carbs, which are 5 to 10%, and fats are 0 to 3%. So do you hear that? Your metabolic rate by 15 to 30%, it can increase that. So because of this, eating more protein reduces the drop in I'm having a hard time with that word. Reduces the drop in metabolism often associated with losing fat, because it reduces muscle loss, and your muscle is needed to maintain metabolic energy. And also, protein helps us prioritize keeping us strong as we age. I can't emphasize that enough. We want to remain strong as we age. We want that to be one of our main priorities, because it helps it decrease our risk, decreases our frailty. It increases our weakness and strengthens us. And the things that happen in the aging process do not have to happen when we are prioritizing protein. This can help optimize your health in that area. But let's talk about, though, because protein is not all made the same. And I truly do believe that. I am 100% for animal protein. I believe it has the best profile for getting you the protein that you need in your body. And, when we start losing muscle, do you know when we start losing muscle? It's not our 50s or 60s. We start losing muscle in our 30s, and then it's a rapid increase of muscle loss in the decades that follows that. And so that means midlife women need to consume more protein to support your muscle health. You have to eat more than you did before. You have to eat more than you did when you were younger. It changes, and we have to flow with those changes in these seasons of life if we are going to stay up and stay at our optimal health. And so let's talk about a little bit on the type and quality of protein. And I'm going to get a little more sciencey on this, and I'm actually going to take this from The Great Menopause Myth, where she talks about the quality of dietary protein that you want to look for. And one is completeness of its amino acid profile. Dietary proteins contain 20 common amino acids, 9 of which are quote unquote essential and must be present and consumed for optimal health. And number 2, whether it's amino acids provide cellular stimulus. Certain amino acids used for cell-specific production of metabolites with enormous physiological importance must be present. I'll explain all this in a minute. Number 3, digestibility and nutrient bioavailability. It is essential that the nutrients in the protein are broken down and can be easily absorbed by the body. This is so important. So, I'm sure most of you know this, but let's go over it because there are 2 types of protein. There are plant protein and animal protein. I already told you I am on the train for animal protein. I eat a lot of animal protein. And in everything I have studied and read, when you go by quality, animal protein, only animal protein, adequately meets all 3 of these factors that I just mentioned previously. Only animal protein. Plant proteins lack the key essential amino acids, contain nutrients requiring complex conversion in the gut, and certain anti-nutrients that block the protein's digestion and absorption and provide low to no amounts of the amino acids needed for cellular stimulus to muscle preservation. That is huge. If you hear me on that, that is huge because animal protein meets all 3 requirements. Your plant proteins do not. And so it says here, let me share this with you. For example, grains and legumes are deficient in the essential amino acid lysine, whereas fruits and vegetables often lack methionine. When the body lacks an amino acid, like I just mentioned, lysine in grains and legumes, when it lacks that, it will break down muscle to release that missing amino acid. That is not what we want. We do not want it breaking down muscle to replace that amino acid. With animal protein, that does not happen. And then similarly, the digestibility and bioavailability of plant proteins are lower due to the presence of anti-nutritional factors such as phytates and protease inhibitors, which can inhibit protein absorption. So these things are present there that are going to inhibit how your protein is absorbing, which is not what you want at all. So animal protein, though, however, provides a complete and optimal amino acid profile and is particularly stimulating for muscle remodeling, contains preformed bioavailable nutrients that need no conversion, and they are easily digested and absorbed, and has aminos that protect against inflammation, oxidative stress, and in addition to that, animal protein is the only source of key vitamins and minerals that plant proteins do not provide, specifically vitamins B12, D3, E, and K2, as well as minerals like zinc and iron. Isn't that interesting? I think that is so amazing. And I wanted to make sure that I shared that with you and let you know how plants, they fall short. They fall short, and they also come packaged with a significant amount of carbohydrates and missing vitamins and minerals and things like that. So I want to share this little example here. They had 2 cups of cooked black beans have 30 grams of protein, okay? 437 calories, where a 6-ounce beef steak has 42 grams of protein, 12 more grams, and only 150 calories. The black beans have no optimal amino acids, no bioavailable iron, no B12, and the beef has the optimal amino acids, bioavailable iron, and the vitamin B12. Isn't that amazing? I just find that so cool. So I wanted to share that with you. And, the thing that I do. So let's talk about kind of how I work my protein in the day. I try and get the most in the morning, so I'm not playing catch up in the evening. So I try and get the most in the morning. And I think a lot of women tend to get low amounts in the morning, and then they're trying to put more in at lunch, and then the biggest amount at dinner. And that can just be problematic because it can help increase anabolic resistance. It can impair your appetite control, your gut health, and your weight management. Our muscles are most primed to benefit from protein intake first thing in the morning, especially when we're coming off that overnight fast. That's when our muscles are most primed and when we benefit the most from intaking this protein. It's like that protein is feeding our muscles, right? And that's what we want in the mornings and set ourselves up for success as we go. So what I do, I try to get at least 35 to 40 grams of protein in each meal. That is usually my goal. I usually hit it really easy in the mornings because all the things that I enjoy are easy for me to eat in the morning. And to give you some ideas, you can oh gosh, you know what? I'm going to get to that in a second. Let's talk about what you can do as far as on getting optimal protein. I love this idea of mixing and layering your proteins. So get more bang for your buck by combining different proteins. Like combine some scallops with your steak or shrimp. I love that idea. And then avoid palate fatigue. Like embrace clean, pre-made seasoning blends. I love to try different seasonings to add variety and to give a different zest and flavor to meats that I'm cooking. And then for simplicity, choose ground meats. You can always choose the ground meats other than a fancier cut and use those in addition to whatever else you're cooking. And then if this helps you, you can batch cook. Like this weekend, my husband, we cooked for dinner. We had some ribs, beef ribs, and steak, smoked sirloin steak. But then at the same time, he grilled several chicken thighs so that we could have those during the week. So I love doing batch cooking like that. And then you can just add some, good veggies with it. But you can batch cook things like, chicken tenders, healthy grilled chicken tenders, things like sloppy joes, salmon, shrimp, scallop, tuna, things like that. And then also, if you're one of those, you can buy in bulk. You can buy in bulk like chicken and fish and eggs and beef and things like that. And that can help you too, so you always have it on hand. And then also think about breakfast does not have to be your standard. I grew up on boxed cereal and Pop-Tarts and all the things. Think of breakfast differently. A lot of times I will reheat something from dinner. I will have that for breakfast. It doesn't have to look like the quote unquote norm that we're used to. And then just re-examine your eating patterns. What can you do? What can you do to adjust your protein intake? Sometimes it just takes a little reevaluating and readjusting to get where you need to be. And then when you need to, close the gaps with protein powder. Use protein powder to get you to your goals and where you need to be or in a quick pinch. But always go for whole foods before you go for things like protein powders. But I will say, adding protein powders to your non-fat Greek yogurt, You won't need a sweetener. I buy plain non-fat Greek yogurt, and add your protein powder to that, because my protein powder is usually like a vanilla or a chocolate. Add that. Add some blackberries and blueberries, and you've got an amazing protein-packed meal. Add chia seeds. That's the one thing I wanted to say. Chia seeds, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, all very high in protein. Add these to the food you're eating and make chia pudding. Use chia pudding, whether you use raw milk or you use unsweetened almond milk. Make chia pudding. And then you can also add things to that and when you make it, add your protein powder. There's so much you can do to get the protein that you need. We just have to think outside of the box. So when you're having a meal and you have that, say you have an egg and egg whites, and you have maybe a piece of sausage or two with it, and you have a yogurt on the side with protein powder and some berries, you have a protein power pack meal right there, and you've set yourself up for success right from the beginning. And so those are great ways to get extra protein. If you like tuna, I mean, you can eat tuna out of the can, sardines, and of course beef, ground beef, steaks, all beef, fish, chicken, eggs, hard-boiled, soft-boiled, scrambled egg whites, whatever it is for you, poached, any kind of eggs. You can use Greek yogurt, low-fat cottage cheese, and then all the seeds I said, chia seed, flax seed, pumpkin seed, all amazing ways to get your protein in, and then add protein powder where needed. Oh, I also forgot meat sticks. I will tell you, my new favorite is Lineage Provisions. So good. One of the best I have tried so far. Absolutely love them. They come in like a resealable package, and it's smaller pieces, and the flavor, and it has organ meats. It's amazing. One of my favorites. A little tidbit there for you. But okay. Anyway, I just wanted to share on protein. I wanted to share on the importance of protein. Women, you need your protein. Don't skip the protein. Lower your fat intake a little bit. Lower the carb intake a little bit. Not fully on either one of those. You need those in your lifestyle, in your diet too. But let's get that protein power in our every single day life. And I assure you, you will see such a difference in how you feel, your energy level, how satiated you are. And I just cannot emphasize enough. Protein forward lifestyle. I encourage you as a woman to do this and strengthen your bones, strengthen your body, and start doing it now. All ages. Any woman, it doesn't matter if you're 20, but if you are 35 plus, it is really time to hone in on this and get started and get focused on this. And so that is what I wanted to share. Again, the book is The Great Menopause Myth. Absolutely highly recommend it, and I'll put it in the show notes. But again, let's just do this for our bodies, for our health, and taking care of ourselves. Because don't you want to thrive while you're aging? Don't you want to age powerfully and actively and feel amazing at any age? I know you do. So let's focus on protein power, protein forward, and we'll do it together. And share this with your friends. Share it with other women that may not know about the protein that is needed for their bodies. Share this with them. Let's help other women out there so we can all age and thrive well together. We can do this beautifully together. So share this with your family and friends. A rating and review would be so appreciative if you would go on and do that. And subscribe on YouTube. I'm over on there too. But that is what I have for you today. I am thinking we'll probably do some more health series like this, and I'll be discussing some more things similar to this. So give me your feedback. Let me know if you like this. Let me know if this is something you needed to hear, because I love to hear from you too. So until next week, this is Carla Allen with Your Age is Not Your Cage. And I just thank y'all so much for being here. And until next week, I will see you soon. Okay, love y'all.